Alright, guys, welcome back to the second episode for the Winds of Winter little theories that I have. I'm sorry that's so far in between episodes. I'm your host, Oberyn Blackfire, the king of the the king of the theories, I guess, king of the crackpots or whatever. Um, okay, so where did I kind of leave off last time? Um, Pretty much, I think I was going to talk more about what's happening in the east with Daenerys. A couple things, theories on the boards that I follow called a forum of ice and fire, just for you guys out there. They really think that, well, we now have the second Barristan chapter. We have two Tyrion chapters, two Victorian chapters. No, excuse me, one Victorian chapter, but two Barristan chapters. So that kind of gives us a sense of what's going on. We know how the knot of Marine is kind of wrapping up, and obviously it looks like Daenerys' forces have pretty much completely won, um, without Daenerys, of course. So what does that kind of really mean? A lot of people think that um, Selmy is actually going to die at the hands of Victorian. I don't really think I've subscribed to that, just because Selmy seems like a really kind of like survivalist now at this point in time. I mean, he survived King's Landing under Joffrey. He's crossed, pretty much the Narrow Sea and then everywhere just to get to Daenerys. And I think that if he died, it'd be really anticlimactic, especially at the hands of someone like Victorian, who's a great warrior but doesn't really have any like logic or really other intelligence because he thinks that he's going to somehow go take Daenerys and then go kill his brother. But at the same point, I mean, but then on the other side, the people who believe that Selmy's going to live also believe that Victorian is going to die. I don't want Victorian to die either. I mean, the guy is kind of, he's an idiot. But at the same point in time, he brings the laughs. I mean, he's kind of like the comic relief, especially when he thought he was going to sail the Dothraki Sea. I mean, come on. Um, Another thing, though, too, huge thing, actually, I think possibly the biggest thing, is that it looks like the Windblown and the Second Sons both, in the battle for Marine, switch sides to Daenerys' side. Which means that if the Windblown actually become allies of Daenerys, and then the Second Sons also become allies, which is Tyrion in there, well, then you have the Tattered Prince. And for any of you people that know and follow the Tattered Prince's storyline, he is supposedly he was a Prince of Pentos that for some unknown reason, when he was elected prince, just pretty much up and left. That being said, well, who else resides in Pentos? Illyrio, and then you have Varys too. So I think that we're going to see maybe some pretty cool backstory from Varys and Illyrio. Um, Hopefully we're gonna see like kind of what fuels them. Maybe we'll even get some information on their backstories that will kind of prove to see why they're like putting Aegon on the throne. Um, since we don't really know, we don't really know if he's real or fake. I mean, my vote is that he's a Blackfire, but I'm a Blackfire enthusiast, so I kind of hope that happens. Um, let's see here. As far as for the East goes, I think Tyrion joining up with Daenerys' forces is going to be a huge deal because, um, of course, I think Cersei is going to die at the hand of Jaime, um, just because that whole prophecy needs to come true. She's kind of in a whole realm of self destruction. Um, I think that's going to be headed. So pretty much Tyrion, if he does join up with Daenerys, she's going to have pretty much the power of House Lannister behind her. As if Cersei dies and Tyrion comes back, well, he is the rightful, lawful heir to the Casterly Rock. Um, and with Jaime being in the Kingsguard, which I think he will stay in the Kingsguard, I really don't think that Jaime is shaped to be a lord. I just don't see him in that position at all. If he lives throughout the next book, I mean, I don't know. Um, so that means that she's going to have a pretty good amount of wealth behind her. Daenerys will have a pretty good amount of wealth behind her if Tyrion is able to rally what is left of the Westerlands to her cause. Um, but one other thing that is there is Ariane's chapter, the sample chapter that we got from her. She is slowly making her way up in Dorne, but towards reaching this Aegon that people believe are real. The one that John Connington is saying is real and asking for Dorne for help. Um, in this, she stops at one of the lesser houses, and you have this girl there that says that she has a dream about dragons dancing, and where everywhere the dragons dance, people died. Um, People are taking this as a direct sign that there will be a Dance of the Dragons 2.0. People meaning that they believe that Daenerys and Aegon will be the ones that will have a kind of Targaryen civil war again, and that's what's going to be like pretty much the second main conflict of this whole war is them against each other, because we know that the Lannister forces are pretty much extinguished. Um, the Riverlands are a ruin. The only one that really has remained untouched is the Vale. The North is kind of in a civil war with itself right now. Um, so there's really, if Daenerys lands and Aegon lands and they both gain support, those are going to be the main two contenders for what's left of what's left of the kingdom. Um, However, at the same point in time, there's really no reason for Daenerys and Aegon to fight at this point in time. He's just looking for a marriage. That's all he's looking for. He's not looking to take her throne or anything like that. Um, at that same point in time, Daenerys being the way she is, kind of a loose cannon. We don't know if she's going to reject him. We don't know if she's going to say, okay, cool, but I'm not going to marry you, and the throne is mine because I worked hard for it. I mean, she's right now at this point in time, we have no idea what the hell she's going to do. Especially we don't even know where she's at. I mean, I'm assuming, okay, with Daenerys, if we're going to follow her storyline more towards what's going to happen in the sixth book, I think it's going to be somewhere along the lines of this. She is going to be recognized as the stallion that mounts the world. She's going to be recognized as the one as the prophecy from the Dothraki, which originally they thought was Rhaego, her unborn son that died. The reason for this is because she rides a dragon, which is obviously a way different and more powerful mount than a horse. And when the Khalasar that found her at the end of the fifth book saw this, I think that she's going to maintain control of them, especially because the Dothraki follow strength. I mean, what's stronger than someone riding a dragon? And not even that, but her riding a dragon, her who's crossed the Red Waste, who's pretty much burned the slave trade down to cinders and that kind of stuff. I think that means that the Dothraki are pretty much going to, as a whole, just say, okay, she's our new Khaleesi, and we're going to follow her because she's the stallion that mounts the world. She's going to make it great. After this, after getting her Dothraki army completed, you have the question of how are they going to get across the ocean to Westeros. What I really hope happens is that she either conquers Volantis because, for many reasons, she's against the slave trade, and she kind of has to finish what she started. And then from there, she gains the fleet that she needs to go to Westeros. Or, with the Ironborn, somehow she at least tricks Victarion into taking her across the water. Or they strike some sort of deal. I just don't see her marrying him at all, though. So, I don't know what's going to really happen with that. But with the Greyjoy fleet comes a huge amount of ships. So that's enough probably to carry her whole army at that point across. Will that happen? We don't know. But either way, I think that she will. I think that the ending of the sixth book almost will be her landing in Westeros. If not, if she might have already landed, and the ending of the sixth book will have to deal with her and Aegon starting the Dance of the Dragons 2.0. Even then, I mean, for all we know, Aegon might be dead at the beginning of at the ending of the sixth book. I mean, who knows? Because if George R.R. Martin is still trying to fit this into 7 books, there's going to be, Daenerys is going to need to go to Westeros. Eventually, the whole problem with the White Walkers is going to have to come to a point. I mean, at that right now, we have no idea. We haven't seen really anything of them. They're still shrouded in mystery. Is there ice dragons? What kind of other powers do they have? Is there spiders? What are these dead things in the water? we just don't. There's so many things that we don't know about them that need to be answered. And I would say with the White Walker, between the White Walkers and Daenerys, there's at least a whole book right there, because she has so many prophecies that she needs to fulfill. And it's kind of like, well, when are they going to get to the fulfilling of those prophecies? She kind of spent in kind of teeter-tottered in Marine a little bit and was kind of like, oh, I'm going to stay here. And she just realized that that's not really going to get her anywhere. She's not like that. She's not, a person to come. She's a liberator, but she's not a person to sit there and sow seeds and feed people and that kind of stuff. That has to be dealt with in other ways with other people. She's a person that goes, conquers, and that's really it. So I think Dorne. I mean, the real question is right now, though, is Dorne going to follow Daenerys, or is Dorne going to follow Aegon? A lot of people are thinking that when Dorne hears about what happened with Quentyn, he is going to be kind of against dragons, and he might be distraught. And at that point in time, he might give his power to Aegon instead of Daenerys. It might even convince Aegon to be against Daenerys, because in his eyes, Doran might think that Daenerys killed his son. Or it might be even kind of a Dornish civil war, simply because of the fact that Arianne, who is kind of power hungry, and is kind of weak in the terms of she sees a beautiful young guy and she will sleep with him. Aegon, by every sense of the word, has been said that he's a comely young youth and that kind of stuff or whatever. I think when she meets him, she might be a little bit glazed over and thinking, oh yeah, this is him. And not even that, but she gets to be a queen. I think that's going to fulfill her lust and her lust for power. So if she joins Aegon, but then Doran is kind of like, well, no, you need to join Daenerys, she's the one there, then I think you can kind of be looking at a Dornish civil war too, simply because if Dorne is split on who they're going to support, then that could be really bad, because the Dornish really need, at this point in time, the Dornish really need to be in one mind, because if they're going to be going up against Highgarden, I mean, the Dornish don't really have that many friends. You know what I mean? Dorne is just kind of thought of like this backwards ass place that's in the southern part of Westeros. They don't really have that many friends. The Marshlands don't like them. Storm's End's never really been a friend. So if they start fighting with each other, it's going to be really easy for any other enemy to kind of just sweep down and just destroy both of them. That's something else that is also concerning too, because George R.R. Martin has also said that before the end, several people are actually going to sit on the Iron Throne. That's concerning, because you're thinking, well, who the hell is going to sit on the Iron Throne? I mean, already it's gone through like 3 people in the books that we've already known. I mean, Robert Baratheon, and then Joffrey Baratheon, and then now Tommen Baratheon, and that kind of stuff. But we know that it's kind of like, well, they're not going to be able to sit on there very longer. And if several other people are going to be sitting on there, I mean, your guesses are as good as mine. Please, if you guys have any inkling of who you think is going to be another monarch in Westeros, then let me know. Because I don't think Stannis is ever going to make it back south, quite honestly. I don't think he's going to ever reach below the neck again. I think he will die as part of the struggle of the White Walkers, unfortunately, because I like Stannis. I think that Sansa and Aegon, if they do get married, could be one of the monarchies that sit on the Iron Throne. I think the Tyrells might get the Iron Throne for a little bit after the Lannister, after Tommen gets killed, or killed or dispossessed. I mean, that kind of goes back and forth too with people. So I think the Tyrells will. I think Sansa and Aegon might, or just Aegon by himself, whether he marries Arianne or Sansa. At that point in time, after him, I think it might be like maybe Daenerys, but even then that kind of feels wrong. But that is about several people, being like around 4. But who knows, because there's so many other story arcs that you have to see ended. But that's what I was going to really ask is, what do you guys feel like this? What story arcs do you guys want to see fulfilled in the Winds of Winter? Because for me personally, I would like to see the Loras Tyrell story arc kind of end, whether he's dead or alive. I would like to see that. I personally would like to see Cersei's story arc end simply because of the fact that